And now we're on. Ready?
Sure.
Dave Vargo here on your Tuesday afternoon alternative. Brand new music. Just absolutely love the sound of that man's voice. The Moment On from his Spaces in Between. Before that, The Good Graces with Wants and Needs from their brand new Prose and Consciousness. Came out last Friday. Kevin Carter, K. Carter, he's going to be on the show in a few weeks. Dayton Strong, you may have noticed a little vocal guest appearance from Mr. Dave Chappelle. Mini Meltdowns before that, some really great melodic punk music. Gonna Miss You from their Destined for Disaster record. And Mr. Todd Farrell of Benchmarks doing his cover of Everything Must Go. And you know what's great is that we have some great guests here in the studio. We have Brandon Berry. I feel like, should I call you a singular Paint Splat?
I am one Paint Splat, yeah.
You're one Paint Splat.
One of many. Yeah.
And Mr. Mike Bankhead. How you doing, Mike?
All right.
You doing okay?
Oh, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I feel like I should check in.
I'm mostly sure.
Okay.
You're mostly sure, which is probably not as good as it's going to get, really, when you think about it. Or not.
Yeah.
You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative here on WUDR Dayton. A rock in the Gem City, music in all directions, support your local music scene. We're going to play music curated by Mr. Berry and Mr. Bankhead. But before we do that, we should probably talk about the Paint Splats have an album release show that's featuring Mr. John Dubuck's Guilty Pleasures. Give me some of that hamburger helper. $7 in advance, $10 at the door at the Yellow Cab Tavern. Tickets are available at Eventbrite. If you take a look at our Facebook live stream, you will see the two handsome gentlemen that are Mike Bankhead and Brandon Berry, and you will see the poster. But of course, why are both Mike and Brandon here? They have an incredible split, Defacing the Moon, which I'm now holding up for those of you on Facebook. But I will read for those of you who are listening. The Paint Splats, Mike Bankhead have a split, Defacing the Moon. I love these titles, Huns of Doubt.
That's that guy.
That's me.
Yeah.
Are Not You Dying Too?
Yeah, that was my take
That's
on doing a
either-
Prince song.
Yeah, it's either Prince or Brandon Berry.
Prince, yeah.
Or Sunday, That Pill?
That's me.
And then Annie?
That's me.
And then Convalescence?
Convalesce is me.
Okay, oh, Convalesce, sorry, I added an little extra in there. High on paint fumes, I'm going to say that's got to be you, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm just thinking the whole paint to paint kind of thing. Pauline?
She pronounces it Pauline, but
Pauline.
that's me.
Pauline, okay. Huns again, is that like a reprieve?
It is.
Or a reprise, a return, a comeback?
Yes, all of those things it is.
If you guys have questions for Mike and Brandon, let us know. We've got a live stream going, so you can ask questions. But guys, what led you to doing a split together?
Well, I had some songs laying around from the first record that I wasn't going to use, and Mike wanted to do a 10-inch record, maybe like 4 songs. It actually turned into more than just an EP, and we found out that the 10-inch records are kind of expensive. So
no way we could afford it.
We went with a jewel case instead, and we made this record, which is it's pretty much a full-length record.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. So to flesh, by the way, Brandon's story is 100% accurate. To flesh that out a little bit, I'm also working on an album and have a ton of songs and wasn't sure which ones are going to make the record and which ones aren't. And then I got the heads up about Local Music Day, which Daryl Robbins is putting together. And I thought to myself, I would like to participate in this. Let me throw a few songs for a project for that. And so, ta-da! Now Brennan and I have these ready for you to buy on November 8th and or 9th.
Or now, if you ask me, not Mike. He won't sell it to
I
you.
totally not sell it to you now. Brandon probably would.
I will. But I don't have any, so.
So you don't have any on you. So if someone were to come to the
No,
station,
he's keeping them for himself
No.
because he knows I would try to sell them.
They all ship to my house, so I have them all actually. For now.
Good
I'm thinking
excuse,
that's
Mike.
wise, Mike. He's already hawking them on the radio here.
I feel like we wouldn't have any left if Brandon would probably forget to actually take money.
That's
in
kind of the
exchange
point,
for
though, right?
CDs.
To get rid of them.
In exchange for currency.
Well, yeah, of course. Yes.
You hope to make, or if make is a strong word, you hope to at least break even.
Oh yes.
That's not going to happen, but that would be wonderful.
It's so expensive. I giggle here, but I'm thinking I shouldn't be giggling because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of money to produce a record.
It's a lot of work. I think people that don't play or make music probably don't necessarily understand that it's work.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of the advantages of doing a split album. The costs are a lot, one half as much as they otherwise would be. So this is considerably more affordable than doing a solo record, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you're just paying like what me and you do. We pretty much pay everything ourselves. We don't have other band members.
Yeah.
Which it kind of makes sense because that's what we do and it makes sense for us to collaborate in that way. Because of that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be a cool thing.
It's we're really different in our songwriting approaches.
Yeah.
But if you listen to this record in order, which as an old person, I like to listen to records in their order, it really flows pretty well. And those of you who pick it up will find that out.
And honestly, that was something I was concerned about because of how different our songs were. But there is a slight through line through the entire thing. And I'm totally stoked at how it turned out.
Yep.
And we, of course, worked with Patrick for all of
Real
it.
Love.
Yeah, we both did our work there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wizard, the man's incredible.
He is. He really is.
And I think quite a few people are working with Patrick, and for good reason, of course.
And for good reason.
So we have these songs. We should probably start off with the They Might Be Giants song. So we're going to start off. Now, in my mind, I picture the video.
It's one of the best videos I've ever seen.
It's a great video, and it totally captures the song.
Yeah, and I do a couple of music videos here and there, and to what are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing. I just had an image of Seth Gilliam.
Rubbing ramen on his chest.
Yes.
Okay. Well, in my mind, this is like the peak of how much I could do, and I would love to get to that point of making that video.
So They Might Be Giants is a huge influence on you.
Not really. It's
No.
pretty recent, actually.
Yeah, okay.
John DeBuck gave me a stack of records, and they gave me the first. He gave me their first record, and that was really the first time I listened to their whole thing all the way through. And that one obviously caught me. It's an incredible song, and I'm glad I watched the music video too. Maybe we can do your music video like that. Blow up an accordion. You don't want to do that? Okay.
No.
Come on, Mike.
You want to do that, don't you?
I cherish musical instruments and hate to see them hurt.
All right. Well, that's fine. Anyway.
So you just can't see yourself doing that?
Uh,
No blowing up accordions. But you could at least do some really interesting or weird, depending on your perspective, interpretive dance like they do in the video.
Hey, that's a good idea, Mike. Let's do some interpretive dance.
Can we get Seth Gilliam and fake news to do that for us?
All right. All right.
This
Fine.
is They Might Be Giants with Don't Let's Start.
Hey, I sent you the songs for this in Wave. Did you get a chance to listen to them yet? I know you're a busy fellow.
I have not.
Because if you
That's
wanna-
interesting because I
if you
can
wanted
see
to
your
play it-
your style is similar to this.
Thanks. I'd like, in the future, I'd definitely like to do more like them.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this video. I'm going to go home and watch it now.
Really?
Although for me, I'd have to say that their early stuff is more interesting to me. Although the music they made for kids is incredibly complex. But there's that whole now genre of kindie, right? Kid-based indie.
Which, I had some
which
people that do that at the conference, and there's
and do it
totally a
really
market
well.
for that. There's
Yeah,
totally a market for
I
that.
guess you can actually do pretty well.
Yes.
I was talking to a friend of mine who's played on some records, and says that the biggest royalty check he's ever gotten is oh my god, grammar's important. The biggest royalty check he's ever received was for a kindie record.
That's not surprising.
I've never even heard of that genre. I know
So,
what it is.
Basically, it's like, parents just hate the mindless stuff that kids enjoy.
Yeah.
So if you're a musician with talents and some creativity, you can make children's music that the kids will like that won't drive the parents crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people
Well, like
will buy
Steve
it.
Makofka's stuff is fantastic in my opinion. We play Nike the Turtle and Jump Around, Make Noise, and Orange Juice, and a few of his other songs.
Those are just cool titles.
Well, seriously.
I haven't heard any of that.
Oh, I'll have to play some for you then.
Well, I might have heard the turtle one.
Yeah, Nike the Turtle is a very fast turtle.
Yeah.
Oh no, God! I'm so sorry. It's wrong for me to sing, in case you're wondering. But I was just on the verge. And then I pulled back.
You're good.
But no, his stuff is great. I just like his stuff in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like there are a whole host of guys I knew, kind of from the '80s indie scene, guys in the Del Fuegos and things like that, who now make a lot of money by making kid-based music or kid-based indie music.
Yeah.
But your stuff would actually lend itself. Your sense of melody and your clever turn of a phrase. I can see you doing that, Brandon.
Let's see if I can turn down the sensors.
I like that song.
Yeah. You like the song?
The
Space Ducks?
The They Might Be Nice song.
You know that song though, right?
Yeah. I know the one about, excuse me,
About what?
just in
Oh, yeah, that's the one. This is a later one though, right?
Hey, Amber Hardhead. Hey, Amber Hardhead.
Hi, Amber Hardhead.
Also, hi, Lucy, in case Lucy's watching.
If anybody has questions, please share.
Do you like Daniel Johnston?
I do quite a bit. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Unfortunately, I wasn't exposed to him until
such a great.
his death.
I mean, I'm a melody guy. I mean, I like a lot of punk, but I need, like we were playing earlier, I need there to be a melody line.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a sophisticated melody line, but I need some melody. I love harmonies. And so, yeah, I love the Ramones like most people, but what the songs I like the most are the less well-known songs, right, that have a greater sense of melody or they're harmonizing, You have it between, like, say, Dee Dee and Joey, which didn't happen all that often.
That cemetery stuff.
Yeah.
I recently rediscovered that because I have a friend who's an Americana guy and because it's covering it. Which you wouldn't think an Americana guy would cover a Ramones song, but that's a really poppy song. It's not what you would expect of when you think about the Ramones. You familiar?
That sounds of course.
I love how you said hi on here to Amber.
So,
Those look good on you.
what? Oh my, the head, yeah, thanks. I mean,
What do you think I was talking about? Your hair?
neither of those ever was good.
So come in after this. Does that work for everybody?
Sure.
How long we got?
Oh, you're ready to go already?
10 seconds.
Oh. Well, I was gonna say something, but
Daniel Johnston, Space Ducks theme song, chosen by one of our fine guests here, Brandon Berry. So Brandon, what is it about Daniel Johnston that speaks to you?
Well, as the I go to my VCR guy that I like older technology, I guess, and I love the Mountain Goats too. And what John Darnielle did, he took a shoebox cassette recorder and did like his first 4 records that way. Daniel Johnston did that for everything he ever did almost, until the Space Duck stuff. I don't know a lot of his history, but I love the idea of taking these little instruments or little recorders and creating this cult classic thing. And so I kind of want to try to do that. Not to be like, I think some people think like, oh, he's just being a little hipster guy. But it's just, I like that sound.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something about it. It's like dirty and you don't know if it's going to last. Because nothing lasts forever, art, So,
I'm so sad now.
I'm sorry. I mean, it is Daniel Johnston. It has to be a little sad. But Space Ducks, that's why I chose that one, because it's a little more upbeat and I have no idea what it means. So it's like most of my songs, I guess. I have no idea what it means.
So you don't sit down and say, I'm going to write this kind of song or that kind of song
No,
when you compose?
not usually. It just kind of happens that way. Eventually I'll I'll say like, oh well, that sounds like this band or whatever, or that's in this genre. Otherwise, I just sit down and do what I want to write, and no one's gonna stop me. Well, you laugh, but I mean, you do the same thing almost, Mike, because you go in. I don't know if it happens this way or if it's the other way around, but you go in saying, I want to write an REM song.
Sometimes.
I want to write a GBV song.
Sometimes.
But other times, I'm sure it ends up the other way around, where you write something and it's like, oh wow, that sounds like this person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's kind of an interesting coincidence that we're on the songwriting topic, because the last time I was here, I remember explaining to you
we
the
talked
5 and 5 songwriting
Yeah.
challenge that I had participated in the past. It's in progress this week. Today is Tuesday, so today was day 2. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this week I'm in this songwriting challenge where I get a prompt every morning and I have that day to write a song for every day of the week. So yesterday's prompt was 10 words, and I managed to use all 10. And also a specific chord progression to use. That was like for extra credit. But really goofy, weird chords. And I managed to do it. And then today's was kind of a sentence that's the jumping off point for the mood of the song, and then another specific chord to use as the bonus, and I knocked that out this morning before I came down. So those are situations where, because that's the challenge meant to stimulate your brain and exercise the songwriting muscle, I know right up front, all right, here are the tools I'm going to use to write, but where you go with that, there's a lot of different places you can go with random 10 words and a random 3 chords.
I think that's so interesting, though. I know we talked about this previously. You're not just writing the lyrics, but you're also composing the music.
Yes.
Is that harder than, say, just cranking out some lyrics, or do you find the lyrics are really difficult?
It's harder for me because I'm not classically musically trained, and I didn't get into music until later in life. And because of my curiosity, and I like to know how and why things work. Mm-hmm. So some of my practice time I dedicate specifically to studying theory. I like to understand how the pieces fit together.
Yeah.
And so the music part kind of is a challenge for me. The lyric part, not usually. I mean, we all get writer's block sometimes, but when I'm not specifically having a writer's block episode, I don't really have too much trouble cranking out lyrics.
Interesting. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Mike Bankhead and Brandon Berry, the Paint Splats Brandon Berry.
Yeah.
You probably remember we've talked about gutting VCRs and things like that in the past. But Brandon and Mike have a split they're releasing for Local Music Day. Daryl Robbins of Overthought Music has asked a very simple question. We come together for Record Store Day for national releases, right? International releases in some cases. Why not have a day where we come to a record store and we pick up great local music?
Why not?
I've got to say, I'm just shocked that somebody hasn't come up with this brilliant idea earlier. What a great idea. And what you guys are doing for this is a split together, so 4 songs from each of you, right?
5 for me.
5 from you.
There are 4 of mine, but you'll have to buy the CD to find out how.
Oh.
That is what they call, I believe in the radio business, a tease.
That was. and expertly placed, sir. Expertly
Thank you.
placed. So the split is called Defacing the Moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why are we calling it Defacing the Moon?
Well, all right. So we had a couple ideas. My first idea was, would you get a whiff of that? And Mike didn't like it so much.
That was dismissed out of hand as juvenile. My first idea was, what happens when we die? Die spelled D-Y-E.
Because
Kind of a play on the philosophical question, but also a play on
The Paint
The
Splats.
Paint Splats.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So then I thought about Mike's first record. It has some moon on it, correct?
Specifically,
Yeah.
yes.
And I said, well, why don't we just combine the 2 art forms and keep the splats and pretty much deface the moon by taking the face of the moon completely out, and it's just the paint splats in a circle. So that is kind of how that title came up. Which actually, it's weird because that cover does not describe the music on this record at all. Which is
You think it's psychedelic or something?
I know. It is not.
No.
You took that right away from me, man. You didn't even let me hang on to it for a second. But no, that's true. I look at the cover here. For those of you who can't see, if you're watching on Facebook, you can see. But it is basically a circle with a bunch of paint splats, and then the tiling at the top and the bottom. It really does convey an alternative, a psychedelic, almost like a 60s vibe,
Sure.
Almost like a tie-dye kind of vibe, which I don't think I would put either of you into those kind of categories.
No.
No.
Sorry. I despite my shirt, I actually despise tie-dye shirts. This is not a tie-dye shirt. I hope
No.
you know that.
I don't know much, but I do know that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. No, we are not of that ilk. I'm not sure what ilk we are a part of, actually, which is kind of cool that me and Mike kind of go across different genres.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just makes sense for us to do this. Yeah.
I just completely drew a blank.
Of course.
On
We're on live radio.
Of
Mike.
course, and the sign there says no dead air. All Music is a database that categorizes music, and my first record is on there. And if you go to my All Music page for my first record and go down to similar artists,
Yeah.
it's all gospel, country, and Christian artists. It's like
Really?
similar to me. Andy Grant.
Like your personal taste as opposed to the way the music
First of all,
sounds.
that's not my personal taste.
Okay.
Or is it not you've heard my first record. Would you recommend like Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley?
I would
Andy
not.
Grant,
I would not.
listening to me?
I was making a sad attempt at
Yeah.
a joke.
It's like, I don't know what algorithm spit that out, but it's not accurate. And then the songs on this, let's just say that if you like my first record, I really hope you still like this, but the songs sound completely different, wouldn't you say?
I think your first record is really rocking, and there are a couple rockers on this one, but there's definitely a lot of slow and sadness. Sadness is still there, just but on the first record the sadness is there, but it's in a different form. It's much more powerful.
The most rocking song on this is yours, though.
Well, I'm talking about your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, the algorithms are actually based on lyric. If you don't fill in, if they don't request like you to categorize yourself, they'll actually, the equipment will go through the lyrics and see what turn of phrase, what vocabulary, what words you use, and actually try to match based upon lyrical content. So when that happens, it is catastrophically bad. It is so wrong. Because when you think of all the punk music where people make elliptical references to the divine,
Yes.
well, who else makes references to the divine? Gospel
Gospel
music. So you get these weird, like you get a punk band and then you'll check, recommended if you like, this, what? Wait, the staple singers, this is a punk band. I remember seeing like an Agent Orange or something like that, and then they were recommending like the staple singers, and I thought, well, I want to live in that universe, but I think it'd be very strange.
Man, I'm curious to see what the algorithm would come up for my stuff.
We'll have to try something.
I think you would break the algorithm.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Can we save that for a song title though? Break the algorithm.
Absolutely.
It seems like more of your kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I
yeah.
could probably handle that.
That feels almost more math rock, doesn't it?
That's your song you gotta write tomorrow.
We'll see what the prompt is, but
Okay,
if
all right.
if it lends itself to that, totally.
Okay. All
I
right.
love it. If there's any connection at all, you got to tell me.
I will
I
certainly
got
so.
to know. Mike Bankhead, Brandon Berry of the Paint Splats, who is the main Paint Splat
Yeah, the main one.
here in the studio. They have a split, Defacing the Moon, that comes out for Local Music Day. Thank you, Daryl, for what a great idea. And then, of course, you've got the Paint Splats album release show featuring John DeBuck's Guilty Pleasures that is happening on November 16th at the Yellow Cab Tavern. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. $7 in advance, $10 at the door. I have seen Brandon play. It is a bargain. That is a bargain at that price, I gotta say. But we're gonna play some more songs that Brandon picked. Anything you want to say about Terry Anderson?
Yeah. So Terry Anderson and I won't say the full title. And the Oaked team, they're from North Carolina, and they are so good. And I saw them in Columbus, and I fell in love. And bass player, I just sent him my first record yesterday through UPS though, so I did spend a lot of money. But they are one of the best bands I've heard, and I can't believe that more people haven't heard them. So that's why I wanted to play it today.
I haven't heard him. What's the band called again? Terry Anderson?
Terry Anderson and the Olympic Ass Kicking.
Yeah, we're off.
Now we're off the air.
So so usually folks will say that's Terry Anderson and Oak.
Hey, so now that we're
it's
off the
Olympic
air.
ass kicking team.
Hey, Lisa and Joe and Earl and my wife Misty, thanks for watching. And John DeBuck. Now that we're off the air, we can specifically talk to you all. If anyone has questions of us, feel free to ask them in the Facebook chat.
Yeah, please do.
Art likes questions.
Art loves questions. Art is centered when students go like, why or what led to, and like, oh, thank you. Or like, I disagree with the reading. It's like, let's talk about that. Oh, I'm so
That's
centered.
good.
I love it when the students don't take it for granted. Which doesn't happen all that often. They're usually like, do I need to remember this? Yes.
So, I like the harmonies in this. No. Also, the bass is good.
Bass player is the guy I know.
I gathered that from you sending personally him a copy of your record. Maybe they'll take you on a tour. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
I wanted to do a show swap or something.
For that. So, now that you have all the songs in Wave, you are welcome to play any of them that you wish on the air. They're all FCC friendly.
Oh, God bless
as
you.
our one sheet says. I badgered Brandon to make a one sheet for this, and he did a nice job. So
I pulled it together.
It's that's classic. But you know, the suggested track saves DJs so much time. It's not funny.
now, I mean, you can play anything you want. What we just.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's always nice to have the recommended if you like or for fans of, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I also tell you that like the algorithm stuff we were talking about a minute ago, that can also be frequently mislabeled.
Yeah.
There are times where I got this thing the other day, this like acoustic guitarist. I mean, he's brilliant. He's really good. I'm digging it. It doesn't really fit the format of the show so much, but I'm loving it. And it's like recommended if you like Kiss. I'm like,
But I don't.
it's hard for me to make the leap here. I'm not quite sure.
Does he play in costume?
No.
Oh, because
No makeup, no costume. Think of like a hybrid of like classical guitar with rock guitar. I mean, and it works. It works really
sounds
well. It's very interesting. Some of the time signatures you just don't see coming, and it's really thoughtful. So you know, immediately I'm interested in some level of deconstruction. Probably not as much as you could do, but I'm like, how this gets to Kiss, I have no idea. And I even thought, like, okay, is he from New York? No, not even from New York. He's from Kansas. It's like, I cannot come up with a reason.
Maybe that was put there just as the conversation started.
You gotta wonder, because it totally worked. Because I spent a lot more time thinking about this guy. So if that is indeed what they did, they are brilliant. They're absolutely, I got suckered, depending on how you want to look at it.
Well, the thing is, there's just so much music, and so many companies obviously that send their music to college radio. We just did a brief college radio campaign for this, and you know, you can hire.
Do not send candy. Everybody sends candy.
You can hire a
Do
company
not
to do this for you, right? And I'm like, why would we hire someone? We can do this ourselves.
Yeah.
But I wanted to specifically research each station, figure out if they had a show that was, for
Oh
instance,
yeah. Oh, that's smart.
one of them had an acoustic
That is
show,
so
like
smart.
Brandon, write this person to say play Annie, which is not one of the recommended songs, but it's an acoustic song.
Yeah,
So
but
we
it
have
fits
an
for
acoustic
them,
show,
yeah.
it fits that, right? But how do you make yourself stand out? Like a station's probably getting 100 of these a day, right?
Oh.
Or more.
If not more, depending on the station. I mean, just on the show here, if I count the online submissions we get, or the publicity packs we get online, and then the physical copies, because Tracy was asking one time, she's like, you seem to be listening to a lot of music all the time. I'm like, well, just for our show, we're getting about 30, 40 a day. And then when I look at how many the radio station gets, it's like another 70, 80, 90 a day kind of thing. We're having a tough time keeping up.
Yeah.
So
Now,
think about that, and think about a station like KEXP.
oh God, they
Who
must
are
be
like-
yeah.
And they
Overwhelmed.
wholeheartedly welcome submissions.
Yes.
In fact, they have a page on their website with like an entire dissertation by one of their DJs on
Yeah.
this is how we would like you to submit to us. Here are
Yeah.
the do's, here are the don'ts. But I'm like, and of course we sent them some because you have to. But how do they get to everything?
Well, I mean, one of the things we noticed is we get to things late.
Which is
Yeah,
what we
people
should
want,
do
you know,
this
one
time.
thing you don't have on here, it would be that if I was making a recommendation for radio or
please
stuff
do.
like that, would be, you know, when are you going for airplay? You know, people use different phrases like searching for airplay, going for airplay, looking for airplay on a particular date, because that then signals to the radio station you or someone else is tracking some of this.
Okay.
And, you know, sometimes we'll get stuff, you know, they'll say, looking for airplay in August. And I'm like, it's October and I'm just now seeing this, right? So realize it's good to have that because then I'll prioritize stuff. What's newer versus, but we also have a pledge on this, well, for this show, and I think mostly for the station, but anything that comes to us, we give a listen to it.
Cool. And most stations will do
That's
that.
why I'm listening to stuff over and over and over.
The ones that don't, disclaimer that on their website. Again, I've done the research.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
station
yeah.
will say-
Oh, some
of them will
have
say,
to.
we listen to everything.
Yeah.
Some of them will say, we can't listen to everything,
Yeah,
we try.
some will say, we'll listen to song 1 and song 3. It's funny how, you know, because usually the first song is sort of like people say, this is the kickoff song, right?
I don't
The
know.
high energy song. Well, see, that's why I'm saying that, because someone like you, like, I'm trying to think, like, for you, song 2 or song 3 is probably going to be more attractive to certain radio stations. But I realize that for some people, song 1 is like an interlude, or it's a segue into the mood of the album,
I've heard
right?
that too on some albums.
Well, I think that fits you, because with your album, tell me if I'm wrong, you're trying to create a feeling,
Yes.
right? And there are ups and downs to the feeling, or maybe
Yes.
feelings plural, not singular. But I think it works, but the first song kind of puts you into the right headspace.
That's the idea. Yeah.
For song 2, oh, I'm so glad I didn't get that wrong.
Oops, I just
No worries.
knocked those over. What's this? I like this. Same guy,
Same
different
guy,
song.
yeah.
Different song though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig this. I'm gonna have to go find it.
You should dig it.
Silvio, mi amigo, gracias por mirar.
Man, nice thing.
My Dominican friend is watching.
Man, today was hotter than I thought it was. Sorry.
Also, Seth Gilliam, thanks for watching. I've shouted out your band a couple times today already. Once in specific reference to you putting ramen on your chest, and once to your sweet dance moves.
Yeah, it was funny how we all had a good time talking about the lizard people.
That video is
Great guest, Seth. You
Well done.
and the band are welcome anytime.
Hey,
We-
Tim, thanks for tuning in.
Do we want to go into the mountain goats, or do we want to talk?
Talk. You guys been talking.
Should we
On
keep
there.
going? Should we jump in?
Yeah.
Up to you.
Sure.
Yeah, there's some fine stuff there. Terry Anderson and the Oak, as we like to say here on WUDR. And Brandon is just having a very knowing laugh over there, an appropriate laugh.
Yes.
You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR. We are a rock in the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. You can do that for Local Music Day happening on November 9th. I will be at my local music store, Omega Music, where I will be picking up some fine local music like the Paint Splats, Mike Bankhead, split release, Defacing the Moon. You can get more information on paintsplats.com, and Mike has a terrific website, mikebankhead.com. 8 songs, maybe even a...
A little something extra.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I was curious to see what you were going to put
Yeah.
in there. A little something if
Something.
you keep maybe listening past.
Yeah.
You know, do not hit stop at a. I have learned that so many times. You know, and, oh, the CD is still going. I'm supposed to wait.
Yeah.
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 You never know what might be there. It might be pleasant. It might be surprising.
It's not either.
Might make you hungry for a burrito.
Maybe. No, it's I actually I'll just tell you about it. I recorded it at my apartment when I still lived in an apartment
Yeah.
2 places ago. It involves a broom, a teapot, and a taser. So I
Oh.
don't know if you're into those things, but you should be. And I think you'll like it. No, you won't actually. I like it. I like that it exists on this record. I think it does not wrap it up in a nice little bow. It actually just tears the whole thing apart.
With that kind of combination of items, it almost sounds like you're building a time machine or something.
Sure. I would love to build a time machine and go back and not record this song.
It totally reminded me of the Boxcar Tweet song.
Oh, absolutely. Which, God bless that band for making a version
Radio-friendly
that
version.
we can play. Absolutely true. But we played 2 songs from Terry Anderson and Oak. We've got a few more songs coming up. And then we're going to jump into some Mike Bankhead songs. Of course, the Paint Splats have an album release show. Now, is the album called Acrylic Atrocities?
No, so I'll use that in the future, but this is just a self-titled record.
So it's just the Paint Splats.
Right, and I do have to say I just dropped off 4 records to Omega. So anybody that wants to go get one, go and get one. So I did not tell anybody until just right now. So
Yeah.
so
Well,
You
now
go
all
pick
our
one up.
listeners have jumped into their cars and are driving to
Yeah.
Omega. You've totally
I'm sure.
destroyed our ratings.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But they are releasing this eponymously titled record on November 16th at the Yellow Cab Tavern, which also features an amazing band, John Dubach's Guilty Pleasures. I've seen them so many times. I really appreciate them doing the South Park Tavern afternoon shows.
Yes.
And for all the folks, you've done some of those yourself, haven't you, Brandon?
I did one with John. Yeah, it was a weird little thing. It was just we called ourselves the Buck Splats, but we actually just played one after each other. You know, it's not anything special, but it was fun.
Mike, when are you playing out again?
Yeah, Mike.
I am hosting showcase night at Yellow Cab Tavern on Thursday, October 24th, and I'm going to play 3 songs at night. Instead of taking normally those are half-hour sets, I'm not going to take a whole half hour to myself. I really want to showcase some of the talented musicians that I picked to play the show. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that if I can. Seth
You
Gilliam.
just did.
Yeah, Seth Gilliam's going to play that show. He's going to kick it off solo. He just put out a fantastic record with his band, The Fake News. Rachel Literal's going to play that show. Chris Blank is going to play. A gentleman from Columbus named Benjamin Marshall, who I think Dayton would love, an acoustic guitar and multi-instrumentalist. And really, I would hope to get a big crowd out to see this gentleman and John Simon. So 5 fantastic singer-songwriters, and then, I'm going to show up too. But come out and see them Thursday, October 24th. In fact, what you can do on Thursday, October 24th is there's a listening party for the new Guided by Voices record on Omega at 6 p.m. It's our chance to get to hear the new Guided by Voices record in a cool environment, and while you're there, maybe pick up some other albums. So after you listen to the new Guided by Voices record at Omega at 6 p.m., come on down to Yellow Cab for Showcase Thursday, which is always free in a very welcoming environment.
It's a great time to see some terrific songwriters. So let's jump back into the music. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but Brandon, I'm curious. Paul Simon, Paul Westerberg, the replacements.
Are you trying to make me choose?
I'm just wondering, what is it about
The
very
punk.
different songwriters that appeal to you?
I don't know. You know how I've described it already. Like I just like jumping around, and I think it describes the way the paint hits the canvas. So I like everybody. I don't judge too much.
So let's get into it. This is from the 25th anniversary deluxe edition of Graceland, and a record near and dear to my heart. Paul Simon, and then a classic from the Mats. Because it does seem in some ways like they're very different songwriters, right?
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
both brilliant songwriters. I mean, and not in any way trying to be judgmental.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Replacements are special to me for many reasons. But I used to listen to Simon and Garfunkel a lot as a kid.
Sure.
So, and it wasn't until later that I actually appreciated their solo stuff a little more. So went until like 3-4 years ago that I actually listened to Graceland all the way through. But I dig his stuff, man. I dig all music. I don't. Like, there's hardly a genre I don't like,
I know what you mean.
except for heavy metal. I don't really like that.
No.
You pinned me as a screamo guy. I'm just kidding.
How do you feel about
Wait, was I being serious when I did that? I don't remember being serious in doing that.
It's kind of funny. We have a pretty vibrant metal scene in
Dayton?
Miami Valley.
Yeah.
Tour the world and put songs in movie soundtracks, and they're pretty successful. Now that's totally not my scene, but obviously I wish all those guys well.
Yeah, you respect the approach, right? Even if it's not for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I've come to the conclusion that the only genre of music that I can't find some element that for me is certain forms of opera.
Well, okay, if we're talking that, and of course I don't like that.
I mean,
either.
My wife loves it.
Well, see, that's just it.
I respect the vocals.
Oh yeah. The abilities.
Like that.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
The compositions are really sophisticated and are really remarkable. But it doesn't excite me.
It doesn't speak to me either.
Yeah.
When I hear someone singing that, I'm like, I wish I could.
I can appreciate the skill. Yeah.
We're in the bathroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Got some
No.
time.
Don't you realize you're locked in for 6 days?
Don't fall in.
We're gonna do Radio Survivor.
So what time are you taking us out of here?
Oh, let's see. He will be here probably in about 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna jump ahead into some of your songs.
Cool.
Play
I wanted to
batch of yours.
plug some of those songwriters that I love.
And then I figure we're gonna go right up to that 5 o'clock
Okay.
hour, maybe a smidge over with you guys, and then come in since I'm in no hurry to get out of here.
The other gentleman, I don't know him. What's his name?
Oh, Daniel Dye.